All right, so now we have episode 3 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier out and available to the public. We're about halfway through the show. Actually, we're exactly halfway through the show. And things are getting interesting, folks. If you remember, well, actually, spoilers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 3. If you remember at the end of last episode, Bucky and Sam are like, well, we don't have any leads to figure out where these new super soldiers are coming from, so we're going to have to talk to Zemo because there's a good chance that since this might be Hydra related, he'll know what to do. So Bucky goes in and he starts talking to Zemo. He's like, "Hey, I need your help with this stuff." And Zemo is just, he's commanding all the atmosphere on screen like he did in Civil War. And it's actually interesting because like he doesn't have any beef with Bucky personally. He was just like, "Well, the easiest way to get what I want is to use you," and it made total sense for the context of that film. There's still a lot of people that are like, Zemo's plan was purely based on luck and coincidence. It's on the same level as Joker's plan in The Dark Knight. And I'm like, not really. He got lucky in like one or two spots. Everything else makes perfect sense, at least if you ask somebody who thought about it for longer than 5 minutes. But what one thing that he does try to do though is try to reactivate him with the code words from Civil War, and it doesn't work. But you do get you get the Winter Soldier theme cutting straight through like it did in the first episode, and I love the Winter Soldier theme. It's so strange and uniquely Winter Soldier. Henry Jackman, who I believe is doing the score for the show, absolute genius. He's such a good composer. But this episode focuses mostly on Zemo because I don't as it is right now, he's part of the main cast of characters. But I don't know if they're setting him up to be the main antagonist of the end of the season. Um it could be a whole thing with John Walker, who actually doesn't spend a whole lot of time in this episode. Him and Battlestar kind of get sidelined because let's be honest, right, with the show. There's a lot going on. And Bucky and Sam still have their personal life things that they're gonna have to reconcile when all this stuff is over. At the rate things are going, some of the stuff is just going to have to spill over into a second season. I don't see them being able to wrap up all of this stuff in the next 3 episodes, especially with what happens at the end, which I'll get to. Um, what am I thinking about? Okay, so the thing that they use Zemo to find out is that there's a scientist who was contracted by Hydra, then contracted by the CIA, then contracted by basically the criminal underground to replicate the super soldier serum, but it's modified. It doesn't make you huge and swole like it did for Steve. You don't need Vita Rays like Steve needed. You just get the juice and you're good to go. And it was stolen by the rebel girl that you see in that you saw in the last episode, who was in Solo: A Star Wars Story. If you saw that movie, leader of that like rebel group, which I guess became the Rebel Alliance. I have no idea. Um, Come to find out that basically the main reason that she's doing what she's doing is because she wants. How, okay, it gives the impression that she wants to topple the current systemic like world order and like how things are designed and who's in power. She wants to topple that and make everybody equal so that everybody gets a fighting chance in this world. And it's like, oh well, she has this tragic backstory and blah 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 blah. And then she just kills people that are pretty much innocent. People just minding their own business, doing their job, chilling at work, and then she kills them. So I feel like if you were trying to garner sympathy for this character, try to get the audience to like care about her in any um significant manner, you kind of screwed it up. Especially because Zemo is just way more compelling, and a lot of us want to know where the whole John Walker thing is going. I feel like this super soldier plot. I get that it's what's moving the story, the main story forward, but I'm not too terribly interested in it. I care about Zemo because he got his mask, y'all. Give me the sword and give me the Masters of Evil. We're getting there. He even his coat has like the royal like claw things in it. I don't know what those are actually called, but you know what I'm talking about. It's the collar that he has in the comics, but now it's on his coat instead of just on him, and he's got the mask. We're getting very close to Zemo as we know him. we're getting ever so much closer to Baron Zemo. And I want the Masters of Evil. I mean, Abomination's out there somewhere. I'm sure there's other villains they can use. It's just the fact that Marvel likes to kill off so many of their villains, which I'm very glad Zemo survived Civil War because this show is absolutely 100% enhanced by his presence. He's just so good. Although my favorite, okay. By the way, this episode is loaded. There's like a lot of shit that happens in this episode. But my favorite bit is when they go to that club or that bar or whatever. Yeah, I guess it's a club. And like Sam is dressed up in this weird looking this weird looking suit. He's like, I'm the only one that looks like a pimp. And Zemo's like, only an American man would think that a fashion forward only an American would think that a fashion forward black man looks like a pimp. I ruined the joke by not being able to. Point is, it's just it's funny. Or when they talk about the Trouble Man soundtrack, and Zemo's like, it really captures what it's like to have the African American experience. And Sam's like, he's out of line, right? It's kind of funny. I don't want that sort of thing to come up too often though, because then it'll feel preachy and it just even if they are trying to go for like a joke with that route, it's just not gonna be funny. Um, and the whole Isaiah thing does come back up because you find out that they were using his blood uh, to try to replicate the super soldier serum that they have now. And it's like, oh, okay, I see that. Sharon comes back, and like Bucky said, she's awful now. I get it. She's been on the run since Civil War. I don't know if she got dusted or not. Um, but she basically hates the system, the establishment, rejects the concept of superheroes, makes fun of Bucky and Sam for what they believed in, and is damn near on Zemo's side as far as you know, moral values are concerned. And I'm actually surprised that Zemo cares enough to get involved because my thought was that he just wanted the Avengers themselves to be toppled, and he did a pretty good job of making that happen. But as of right now, as far as I know, there's no real Avengers team. Sam is doing work for the Air Force, which I mean, I guess him violating the Sokovia Accords, he's okay from that now. But like, I don't think that there's just a straight up Avengers team, unless I'm totally mistaken. There might be. I mean, it seemed like Mysterio and Far From Home wanted to join the Avengers to get that level of clout. So maybe there are Avengers, but I don't know. We don't have an officially published roster. You know what I mean? But it turns out Zemo's like, yeah, no, all super people are a mistake. So I'll help you get rid of them. But I'm sure he's out to gain something a little bit more than proving his point. Like there's no way that he's gonna be on their side for the rest of the season, right? But I'm sure that when he meets the new Captain America, things will be interesting. Things will be very interesting. But overall, this episode's really good, really well paced. Oh yeah, the end. The Dora Milaje are there. They're walking around now because they want Zemo. The UN put Zemo in jail in Berlin, which makes sense because that's where the UN first encountered him, I guess. But Wakanda didn't have jurisdiction over what to do with him. They couldn't make that decision. And it makes sense that they would be a little bit upset with Zemo because he killed King T'Chaka back in Civil War. I'm sure you remember that. Why can't I get my hair to cooperate? He killed King T'Chaka back in Civil War, which I'm sure anybody that saw that movie will remember. What the hell is this? What the hell? Anyway, the Dora Milaje are there, likely to get revenge on Zemo and avenge King T'Chaka. Very interesting stuff. I'm very hyped to see where this is going. The show is pretty well paced so far. I'm not overly invested in every single plot thread that's being thrown our way so far, but I'm totally into all the Zemo stuff, all the Sam and Bucky stuff. Personally, all that stuff is good. I love that like the show was playing with this idea that while Wakanda was able to get the code words out of his head, they still can't fix him. Bucky is still very much damaged from all of the stuff that he went through. And then, of course, people are so mad at Sam for giving up the shield. And Sam still doesn't feel like he deserves the shield. So, there's a lot to resolve in the next 3 hours. And I'm looking forward to it all. But, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 3. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Whatever it is, whatever you think, comment below and educate me. As always, get more videos from me. Go ahead and click somewhere on the screen to take another video. I'll see you soon.